Good morning, friends. Welcome to the day after Sunday. I'm just going to say this before we even get started. Buckle
Rails
up.
off.
It's going to be fun. I have Dexter, Phil, and Mitchell joining me today. Welcome, everybody.
Hello, I'm
Good
Mitchell.
morning.
Hello, everyone.
If you did not worship with us yesterday for Easter, you can still.
What were you doing?
Wow, jeez.
Apparently, you should go to another church, right? Like,
Oh,
it's just making. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Just making some bold claims there today.
I mean,
But
it's
yes,
Easter, right? Like, if you weren't worshiping in online or in person somewhere,
hey, Easter brunch is also a thing. Don't shame Easter brunchers.
that's true.
All right. But yes, so welcome. We're glad you're here. This is the day after Sunday, which means it's kind of a behind the scenes, what's going on that maybe you don't see when you come to worship, or maybe you do see, but you wonder, oh, why is that the way it is? Or, why do we do it this way? So we'll answer some of those questions. We'll have some, I'm sure, very random conversations. But our day started, especially Dexter and I, our day started quite early yesterday. Dex, what time did you get to church?
4:15.
Nice. I was second car in the driveway. I was 5:03. So
I was sixth car in the driveway, 5:58.
nice. Phil, you brought several dozen donuts with you.
I
So
went and got the
Donut
donuts.
holes. Did
Phil
you
brought
actually have
his,
donuts, or
broken
was it
back.
just holes?
Donut holes. All the donut holes. 15 dozen donut holes.
well, and a free cinnamon roll, which you gave to me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, totally.
Apparently, if you buy 15 dozen of anything, you get a free cinnamon roll.
It's this sweet lady who's Methodist. It's their
Oh,
donut
cool.
shop. And so I used to live by this donut shop. And so that's kind of why I ordered from there, because I just knew that I wanted to support them. So,
That's awesome.
Really?
That's my favorite thing
Where does
about
she,
donut.
Where does she go to? Where does she go to church?
so she's Korean. So she goes to the Korean the Korean Methodist churches,
Oh,
but I don't know
sweet.
which
Oh,
one.
wow.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dex, what'd you say about donuts?
That's my favorite place about donut places is like you buy enough stock or they know you. It's kind of
Yeah.
like a Cheers thing. All of a sudden you
Absolutely.
get benefits, and it's
Oh, yeah.
really nice.
Yeah,
you don't have to have
Your
a punch
box, and
card. You
there's
don't have to have
like a bunch
anything with you.
Extra
Yeah.
donut holes laying around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
And they're so tasty. They're just like
Why
little
were we
bite-sized
he-
deliciousness.
Why were we here early, Rebecca?
Well, we did a sunrise service, and there was no rain, which was good. There was also no sun.
The sun kind
unfortunately.
of forgot to rise. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so we had a sunrise service in our garden. It was so beautiful. We haven't done that since 2019, because last year when we did our sunrise service, it was in the parking lot, and we had, the pods spray painted on the ground for people to be distanced. That was still seems like a lifetime ago. We didn't know if COVID spread when we were outside, so we were just being super safe. So this year we were back in the garden, on the benches that John Stanford stained. They look so great and warm, welcoming. And so
Thanks, John.
Dex and Rolf and I were setting up for Monday Thursday. For what was it? What was
Easter
yesterday?
sunrise.
Easter.
We're all
Easter.
sleep
There we
deprived.
go.
Is really what it comes down to.
Easter.
So yeah.
There we have it. Easter was yesterday, y'all.
I love it.
Well,
We were
thanks
in
for
a-
joining us. Bye.
We were in a garden. It sounds like it's almost like biblical or something.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it's really neat to see people come that early in the morning. We had a good mix of folks, like all ages, and it's
Some
just really
new
cool
people too that came
Yeah.
in, which was fun.
Yeah, neighbors, as well as people who regularly attend the church.
So there was a family there? Were they our immediate neighbors?
They are.
Yes.
Oh, nice. That was
Which
awesome.
I guess they kind of had the mentality of like, well, we're either going to be worshiping from our house because these speakers are going to be blaring through, or we could just go ahead and show up.
Yeah.
So they showed up.
Totally.
We did. I did put notes on our neighbors, on our like probably the 6 houses right around the garden. I sent them notes last week saying, "Hey, sorry, we're going to be sound checking at 6 a.m." But thankfully, I mean, they're also understanding. They just,
Totally.
even if they don't attend, they're just like, "Oh no, it's fine. Thank you for letting us know." So
Yeah. It's once a year.
yeah, it's once a year, and it's for a
Now.
good cause.
For a good cause. The resurrection of our Lord.
The resurrected
Yes.
Christ. It's a good cause.
I do want to bring out though, and we won't spend a lot of time on the sunrise service because it wasn't streamed, so there weren't a lot of people that were able to see that. But so Ben wrote a song for sunrise service. I asked him. He was like, "Hey, I need somewhere to put my like creative energy," and I was like, "Well, if you could write a song for sunrise, that would be amazing." And he's just like stupid talented, so he wrote a song called "Waiting for a Miracle," which we laughed about, because that was accidentally the same title as a song from Encanto. Phil, I think you pointed that out to me.
I did. Yep.
Not the best song in Encanto.
No, but decent.
Yeah.
I agree. Not the best.
I mean, I saw Encanto. I didn't remember the name of the song, but anyways, this was not the same one. This was.
He also wrote another song called "We Don't Talk About Bruno," which was
Ben did.
Yeah, Ben
wrote another
just
song
total
like that.
coincidence.
he got confused and thought Judas's name was Bruno.
Yeah,
We don't talk about Judas. Oh, sad. Womp womp. But yeah, so that was
Judas
super
is
fun.
just so misunderstood,
Well, I mean, we also have to talk about the fact that Jesus Christ Superstar is currently touring in Dallas, and that's really written from the perspective of Judas, so that's super interesting.
And Phil will tell you all about how he did not get to go see it, even though he had tickets.
Monday, Thursday.
Oh, womp womp.
It's okay. My oldest daughter got to go, and she very much enjoyed it. So it's all is well.
Okay, well, that's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yes, so then we moved on to the main Easter worship service, and I was telling Phil before we started recording, I don't think I'm being like overly optimistic or simplistic. I didn't write down much that went poorly yesterday. I mean, it was a very smooth service overall. We had, what was our final count in person? We had 295.
295. Mm-hmm.
Mitchell, you predicted 300. So close. Yeah.
Dexter yesterday told me I should just go ahead and say it was 300, though.
Yeah,
Well, like,
what's
I think-
holding us back from doing that?
Just
We've
round it
never
up.
done that before.
There's
it's
this pesky little thing called honesty. It's fine.
it's also a rounding error. It's
Accuracy.
fine.
Okay, well, hold on.
How many we have online?
I have not calculated numbers yet. I'm going to say it was probably pretty close to our normal, right around 200 or so.
See, most
Nice.
folks, like, after Easter, they're like, all right, yeah, well, it's Monday and it's time to go to work. For church staff, we're always like, how many do we have? There were so many people. Let's count them.
Count all the peoples.
That's how we get better ad chairs.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, it was a great day yesterday. Really great. Really, really great. And I think we can go ahead and sack the Easter
Preacher.
Oh,
preacher.
jeez.
No, jeez.
Wah, wah.
No, the photo background, the backdrop, like the one that's like the frame,
Oh, yeah.
which is nice for things, but no one was taking pictures with that. They're taking pictures with the heart
The heart
because
sculpture.
it looks so
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah,
It looked really cool.
It was really, really cool.
So let me tell you a little bit about that. We decided to do that last year
Mhm.
in preparation for Lent and Easter, so for Palm Sunday and then Easter Sunday. And here was my thought process. I wanted to do something that was visible to the community. I wanted to do something that was accessible in pandemic times,
Mhm.
so that people could, if we ever weren't having worship services in person, people could stop by and it was easy and it was safe and it was, socially distanced, all that kind of good stuff to physically participate. And I grew up Methodist, as most of y'all know, and we, as well as a lot of churches, have the cross outside the front, wrapped in chicken wire that you add flowers to. And I was like, okay, well, number one, I want to do that for Palm Sunday as well. I want that to be interactive with the palm branches. But what can we use that's a symbol of God that's different from a cross, that maybe is, a sign to our neighbors that we are an inclusive church, a progressive church. And so I was like, okay.
You might
heart
say we're
sculpture.
the heartbeat of the community.
Yeah, you might say that. I wasn't going to, but sure, you could say that.
One might say that.
And so, yeah, I mean, again, this is the second time his name has come up so far, John Stanford.
Bruno?
Nope.
We don't talk about him, Mitchell.
Jesus.
He built the heart sculpture, and it's large. It's hard to store, but it's very worth it because last year and this year, people just like really, really loved it. We put palm branches. We took the palm branches out. Everyone got a chance to add their Easter flowers.
Mhm.
If you haven't done that yet, stop by and see it and take a picture. There are some Easter lilies that got blown over by the wind. You can stand those back up too.
Totally. It was, man, the Instagram feed yesterday felt like, the whole the flowering of the cross and that like Easter tradition. There were a lot of people taking pictures next to the like pretty crosses all in the places that they were worshiping.
For
And,
sure.
Sure. Yeah.
like I felt like it was unproportional, like or just like way more folks doing that this past year than I remember.
That's interesting. I wonder where that was.
It's funny you said Jesse even made a comment last night. She was like, "Oh, look, somebody made a comment about Christ is risen and next to a flowered cross."
So original, right?
Never seen that before. I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're a terrible person."
I will remember the only one that had a heart.
Totally.
Totally. Yep.
Yeah.
You are probably correct there.
So
Yeah.
good job, Rebecca. Yeah, I
Yeah,
totally
I think it's
agree. I
awesome.
think it was a beautiful way to invite people into like participating, right? Because
Yeah.
everyone kind of flowered the cross. It wasn't something that we did ahead of time, which
Right.
is typically what happens, right? Like
Right.
people show up and there's this like flowered cross. We invited everyone to actually participate in flowering the heart.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful.
You know what? I think I had an idea that I want to try next year is do the flowers, but also have some like different colored ribbons that people can add. I think that would look really pretty too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mental
Definitely.
note for a new idea.
I don't care about next year.
You won't. Be, it's all right.
Okay, get out of here.
Just kidding. I care.
I care
Ish.
just marginally.
Care-ish.
Just differently.
Differently.
So the music yesterday was, I think a lot of people, I know, not I think a lot of people commented on the music. It was so cool. And I just want to point out again how grateful I am to work and serve in a community where we could have Charles Wesley, Beethoven, and Dolly Parton in the same
Totally.
worship service. It was
And
great.
all homegrown talent.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
We
did
did not hire any
we
of
did
No,
not
Beethoven
hire
wasn't here.
a musician
Yeah.
at White Rock for Easter.
Oh,
And that's just
musician.
that's so incredible.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing wrong with hiring musicians. Obviously, we've done it, but it's just cool to know that like there's that many talented folks in our congregation that we can have that variety of music. And
Absolutely.
yeah, really proud of our folks.
Yeah.
Music yesterday was amazing, and I was sitting there in my suit ahead of time with Phil, and we're sitting on the front pew, and we were just watching you, Rebecca,
Mm-hmm.
direct that, and
Not awkwardly at all.
no. It's incredible to watch you work. Like
For sure.
we don't actually ever get to like we see you work, but we don't get to see you direct, right? Like
Yeah.
because that's something
Rehearse.
that you do.
Yeah.
Rehearse with folks. Like it was just incredible the command and the like grace and the like. You're just really good at it, and it
Oh,
was
thank you.
evident yesterday. Like watching you like keep track of all the things you're going to make note of and invite people to do differently.
Yeah.
In between takes or is that right? Take?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that works.
Like
No,
you would you would spit out, hey, everyone, great job. You gotta start lower because we gotta end somewhere. And then that was like the direction to the entire choir. And then you're like turning over to Farron and you're saying, hey, like lay off the keys on this like certain point, and then you're telling the horns to do something. And it's just incredible what you can keep track of as you're directing folks. And it was just like I know you're super talented, but watching you work in that space yesterday was just a real blessing, a real treat for me,
Well, thank you.
especially
I really
for someone
appreciate
who
that.
has no clue how to gauge the effectiveness of a choir.
Sure. What, you can't gauge the efficacy of the French horn and the baritone entering against
No.
the piano?
No, I cannot.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could-
No,
No, I couldn't.
I love that. I really appreciate you saying that. I just I remember something that I heard at one of our annual conferences many years ago, one of the guest bishops was preaching, and they said, when you love a community and they know it, they will work with you and work for you in ways that you can't even, predict. And I think that's so true, because really it just comes from a love of what I do, but more importantly, a love of the people. And I'm very honored that we have, I think at this point we have like 6 music teachers in our congregation, and all of them at one point or another, they didn't all participate yesterday because of their schedules, but several of them did. And so I'm honored that people who also do what I do want to be under my direction. That's really, really cool. And I think that goes for each of us too, right? We have a lot of seminary trained people who choose to study under Phil. We have a lot of retired clergy and retired preachers who choose to listen to Mitchell preach, right? We have a lot of graphic designers who choose to put stock, Dexter, in what you do and compliment your work every week. And I just think that's a huge honor that each of us, gets to experience from our community.
Totally.
Yeah, that's well said.
Yep.
So I just
when you said homegrown, I'm up on the mic now. I thought you were talking about Beethoven and Dolly Parton went to our church, and
they did. You didn't know?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that. No.
Beethoven was the original music director.
I could be sitting in the place that Beethoven created the Ninth Symphony, and it could be like an amazing moment for me.
It was at White Rock. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
So
Beethoven, the Wikipedia page.
My bad. I'm gonna go update it real quick.
Phil, can you get on the creating a Wikipedia page for White Rock?
I'll work on that. No, I'm going to start one for First Downtown Dallas if there's not one already, and I'm going to just
there is one already.
The entire time.
There is one already there. It's got some work. We need to do some work on it though.
Well, I'm going to do some work on it.
We kid because we love Mitchell. We're gonna miss you.
I'm gonna miss y'all too, very much.
I don't know which was more shocking though, Mitchell, seeing you in a suit or people seeing me in a dress, because both of those things have like never happened at the same time. Everyone
talks about the suit, and look, I wear a suit every Easter. I've worn a suit every Easter for like all the Easters. You
didn't wear a suit last year.
I don't think you
didn't wear a suit last year.
We weren't in person last year.
Just correcting your statement.
Well, I mean, potato here.
I
Masters.
wore a suit in 2019. I wore a suit in 2018. I wore a suit in 2017, 2016.
And you happened to wear one
on the train.
What'd you wear in 2020?
Go dogs, go. It's not too far. Go by.
I wear a suit on the train. I wear a suit in the rain.
By boat. By car. Go dogs, go. The light is green.
If you missed the sermon,
dog, stop.
All Mitchell did for our Easter sermon was read "Go Dogs Go." That was the
over
whole
and over.
sermon.
That's it.
Repeatedly.
Incredible. Yeah. So yes, a lot of suit comments. A lot of suit comments about if I was practicing or putting my suit on so I could get used to it because I'm going to First. But no, that's not the case. I wear a suit every Easter except the ones that I don't do in person.
Fair.
But Phil said, "Hey, I didn't know you were going to wear a suit."
Yeah, I was like, "Thanks for the heads up, dude."
So
it's all good.
Yeah,
there was lot of
my kids came to Sunrise in pajamas, so whatever.
Yeah, it's all right. It's really early.
Betsy didn't even brush her hair, so there's that. Looked like a ragtag lion. Hey, just crunch numbers real fast. We saw 700 people over Holy Week.
Wow.
Not including Palm Sunday.
Incredible.
That's Monday, Thursday through Easter.
That's awesome.
That's incredible. Yeah. So Mitchell, I really appreciated your sermon. I really loved that you brought out, the complexity of the story. And we say that word on this podcast a lot. I feel like that's almost like a cliche word that we say. It's so complex. But it is. It's when we think about the joy of Easter, we also have to think about the pain that led up to it, as well as what Easter looks like for all the different scenarios that you laid out, right? Mm-hmm. What does Easter look like in Kyiv? What does it look like for a gay teenager or a single mom or, an addict or a person who lost a family member to COVID? Right. That was really powerful because I think that helps us get out of being the center of our own story, like we've been talking about. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Easter, it's easy to like snap the Instagram photos and like get on to the Easter meal after we feel like we checked the box of going to church. But the truth is, like, most of us will move on from the Easter story pretty quickly. And then there are those who experience Easter in real time, and it doesn't feel like the story is one that they can believe because they don't see that reality in their life. And I think we have to be real honest about that. Otherwise, we're basically selling people something that's a hollow gospel that doesn't really jive with our reality. So that doesn't mean that there aren't places where we can see the resurrection, but the experiencing resurrection is unique, and it's not commonplace, and it also requires a death. And if we're in the business of self-preservation, whether that's, refusing to be vulnerable or trying to hold on to power, a lot of us never get to the point of death, right? We try to stay alive as long as we can. We're on the run. And so like there can be no resurrection without a death. And I think like that in and of itself is really counterintuitive for us.
Say that again. There can be no resurrection without a death.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise you're not resurrected from anything. You're just empowered to, continue making your life kind of what it is. But if we don't lose, I mean, Jesus talks about this, right? And like, sure. if you're not willing to lose your life, right, you won't gain the new life that God has in store for you. And what does that mean for like upper middle class white folks who like resurrection or death looks it's hard to like see that as something we should entertain. But I don't even know what that really looks like for a lot of us. What does death look like? What does it mean to die to ourselves, right? And die to the life we have currently so that God can resurrect us. I think it's very complicated.
Yeah. Phil, you were going to say something.
Well, I did this, the daily podcast at Holy Week and reflecting on Mark, and the source I was reading, it talks a lot about it's not just dying to ourselves either. It's like Jesus is pretty darn clear too throughout Mark that it's a taking up of your cross too, right? Like it's a death, but it's not just death is never simple, right? And the kind of death that Jesus talks about is like disgusting and brutal and so painful. Yeah, painful is a really good word for it too. So it's not comfortable to talk about that. We've talked about this before on the podcast too, but it's what's it called, the sunshine version of theology or whatever. What there's a term for it. Whenever we did the Joy in the Darkness series, we talked about it a lot, like where all we want to do is talk about like positive things, in theology and in church and yet it turns out, especially during Holy Week, like we're invited to kind of embrace the death part of it. And yeah, I think that's the downfall of so many churches, and we can talk about Mitchell's invitation to find a different church.
Well, we can talk about that, but I also want to just, before we talk about my invitation for folks to find a different church, I want to talk about Dexter tried to kill me off yesterday too.
What
with his
the heck?
Picture that his in memoriam picture that he made of me.
Oh yeah. You're welcome.
So describe what happened.
I don't really know what happened. I got in a photo with my staff, and because I told Rebecca, hey, I want to take some photos before I leave.
Before you leave. Before you're gone.
And then all of a sudden I get a text, and there's this I've become a meme.
There's a meme
of one of the photos that's not even the best photo. It's just one of, many photos taken. And somehow my face was zoomed in on, and then Dexter made that.
Yeah.
That said, Reverend Mitchell Boone in remembrance. WRUMC Youth Pastor.
If you're listening on the podcast right now, this is going to be on YouTube as well, so you can go check that.
Go see
maybe
that should make an appearance
can throw
on
it up in the
Instagram
Instagram story.
Okay, so this, yeah, we took some pictures.
Well, hey, hold on a second. Let me just say this too. That was not the first thing that's ever been put out there. There was a picture that was taken of me whenever I was replacing all the light bulbs in the sanctuary.
So he's like 80 feet
what
in the air.
I would consider one of the deadliest jobs in America. Let me just phrase that.
Deadliest Catch might have something to say about it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, ice truckers.
So I totally. Well, I mean, I'll go up and compete with them.
And Russian astronauts, probably.
That one's
I don't
pretty
think you
easy.
can say that word anymore. We don't talk about Russians.
Anyways, and then I made an in memoriam photo for me also. So it's like it's a chain of things.
He memed himself first.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah.
And it looked really good too. Like it's something that I'm proud of. Like I would hope that it's on my funeral, the front page of my funeral thing.
I will make sure if I somehow have the honor of presiding over your funeral, Dexter, I will make sure that photo is on the bulletin.
Just know it's favorited on my phone. So if you ever need
just
it,
go ahead and give me your phone
there.
password right now.
We'll just use his face. It's fine.
And then the picture you can have inside is my afro that I had in high school that was 8 inches in length. There you go.
Okay.
So anyways, Phil, back to you.
I mean, I was going to talk about the jump from Palm Sunday to Easter Sunday, but I think the time has passed. We should just talk about finding another church. Because after this podcast, everybody may be looking.
Oh dear! Oh my goodness! Jeez. Yeah. So let's clarify really quickly that we are not talking about finding another church and leaving White Rock.
I was inviting
not all of us.
Yeah, only Mitchell.
Only Mitchell.
I was inviting people to leave if they were a part of a church community that did not ordain women, value women in leadership, allow women to hold the, title pastor, that they should find a new church.
Because of the scripture, right? Like the text saying that.
Well, yes, because for a lot of reasons. But
sure.
the reason I said it yesterday,
yes,
was because the women were the first to the tomb, right? And then they were given this message, and what did they do with that message? They went and they proclaimed it. They preached the good news to the disciples. It was a clear, I think, instance in where women were the first to receive divine revelation, and then were empowered and given the responsibility to share that with others,
the world. Yeah.
With the world. So, and that's not unique to Luke. It happens in other gospels.
That's in all four gospels, actually. I was going to point that out.
Right.
The women
Mark
are the first to know.
A whole lot
kind of in Mark.
Kind of, but yes.
They really just leave in fear in Mark. At least the original ending.
Sure. Preaching can be fearful.
Yeah. In all four gospels, the women are the first to know. That's what I meant.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. And so I think it sets a pretty clear precedent that that God has no issue with women preaching. And
you said, and
if you want to fight me on it, what?
You said, and in fact, it may be the preferred.
Yeah.
I said at worst, God has no issue. And at best, it may be the preferred.
And then
it may be preferred.
People applauded. When's the last time people applauded in the middle of one of your sermons?
Twice.
I don't know.
Twice, not just once.
Yeah, because I did round back and say then you should leave your church if they have a patriarchal view of women. Essentially.
Yeah. You did soften it a little bit. I think at the sunrise service, you said you should just find a new church. At the 1050, you softened it. You said you should be in prayer and conversation with God, whether you might need to, which I appreciated that too.
Yeah, I stand by that. I think that folks should really consider finding a new church if they are in a church where women are not allowed to be in leadership.
But the Bible.
On a serious
fight anyone
note,
on that note. Like I will fight anyone on that point. So if anyone wants to come at me with some weird Timothy text, like we can go there. But like I'm gonna go ahead and center the gospel and the Easter story as my trump card. And if you have a better reason, then you can email me and I'll meet you for coffee and we can go to town on it. But I think it's real clear that women deserve absolute equity within faith communities. And so
I really do. I mean, I appreciate that. And on a serious note, I want to give voice to how many times in my 15 years in ministry, I have either been completely dismissed or said, oh, well, you can't be the minister to the whole church. You must just work with the kids' music.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I lead worship for the entire church.
Which, is also yeah, totally. I have no doubt, Rebecca, that you've had that experience in church. What that also does is it says men can't be the ones who work with children or youth, right? Like it also is a way for us to like overly divide and gender our churches to where like the actual gifts of the Spirit are not
recognized,
don't take center stage.
Yeah.
It's first your gender and then it's like what you're gifted to do.
Yeah.
And that's just not how God works.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate that. I've also been in situations.
Go ahead.
I've also been in situations, right, where I've done hospital visits and I was assumed to be the daughter or the granddaughter. I couldn't be the pastor, even though I'm holding a Bible, right? So, yeah.
I mean, that's been a reality from your time here at White Rock.
Yeah.
Which is a church that like, while we do not have a lot of female clergy on staff, 0, in fact, clergy. That's not a lot. No, it could change though. It does say, we do say like that there's equity here. And even when you're in churches that affirm that, it's still hard. Yeah. Right. Like just because we ordain women doesn't mean that it makes it easy for women to be in ministry.
Right.
So we're already setting women up, they have to work harder than men in a denomination that affirms women in ministry.
Right.
What do you think it's like for women who are called to ministry in churches where they don't even allow women? Right. Like we've got enough work to do in the equitable spaces. Like that's why I'm saying like,
yeah,
people should just find a new church. Like there's enough work to do in spaces where we are trying, much less like spinning your wheels in a place where churches aren't trying.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, the argument can be made too, that there is good and holy work to be done if you remain in those churches and you're working from the inside to change them, right? We are certainly in a denomination that is doing that on the LGBTQ front, right? So it does make sense, right, that you can remain in a denomination you don't agree with because you're working to change it. That is also good and holy work.
But you better be working.
Yeah.
Like just saying like, I don't agree with it is not enough.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and I think that's like what we've seen here within the United Methodist Church. Like there are folks who think, LGBTQ inclusion should, exist, but they're not willing to put in work to try to change it. And so like,
sure,
if you're going to stay within a denomination that is on the wrong side of a social issue, I'm not saying that that's not a good thing. Clearly, because I'm still in the United Methodist Church, but it does mean that you have a responsibility to actually work to change it. Otherwise, you are complicit.
Yeah, that's a call to action for ourselves as well. That's
totally.
It's too bad your microphone's on an arm. Otherwise, you could drop it.
Mic drop. Oh dear.
Well done.
Should have muted before.
So what else? I mean, what else about the worship service yesterday caught your attention, or what other things, might be interesting to talk about? Hey, why do we do it this way? What does this mean? Dexter, you look like you're going to say something.
Children's time.
my mom.
You ever seen a train derail all over the place? That was children's time. And it was awesome.
You ever watched a YouTube video of a train hitting a semi truck? That was.
Go kids, go.
My mom said it was Phil's best children's time ever.
I had somebody online said the same thing.
I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah,
it was great.
I think it was the way that Phil was able to adapt to each and every particular moment that happened, which there was a lot. Yeah. Like learning that
it showed Phil's
our pastors' names aren't really their first name.
Right.
Yeah.
It would have really blown their minds.
The kid that just wanted a seat and Phil's like, no, you can't have it. Then he's like, you know what? I don't care. I'm still going to sit here.
Dance next to you.
And Phil's like, this is not really like part of our protocol or what we're supposed to be doing or not. And so we're like, I'm going to scoot and try to make sure there's space, but keep this moment going.
I said something about like nothing can separate us from the love of God, and he literally tried to sit right next to me. I was like, nothing can separate us. Clearly, like we are right here,
literally
connected.
Yeah, That was great. No, you did. You pivoted all over the place, Phil. And I really appreciate that you give a response, like a very dignified response to each person. You know, even if it's a silly answer, you're still like, hey, yeah, thank you for sharing, you know?
Oh, when we say all are welcome here, we mean even that comment. No, it's fun. Like, you know, I've joked about the children's time a lot on here, but like, it's been really good for me because, I mean, usually my go-to is teaching like deep theological, you know, like whatever conversations. And
you have gotten better. You didn't use any 4-syllable words yesterday, which I was very proud of you for doing that.
I tried really hard.
Yeah, you use
Phil is
adult. You use like
incapable
adult words.
of doing
Yeah.
that.
Incapable. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I know you've gotten some comments from, especially some of the teachers in our congregation saying,
Totally.
"Hey, Phil, I don't think
Eschatology,
5-year-olds know what eschatology means."
Yeah. No, actually, I will say I did. So I kept trying to
Atonement.
find like a good image or something, and the more I read, was people.
It was,
was like-
weird. I thought you were the Easter lily thing.
I know.
I'm really glad you didn't go there.
I know.
It would have creeped some people out, I think.
It turns out the mythology behind Easter lilies is that, y'all, and I found this in a multitude of places, that both in the Garden of Gethsemane and while hanging on the cross, that Jesus' tears and blood sprung up Easter lilies.
I feel like I've heard that.
And so we made the call to not talk about that during children's time.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's even a call to think about.
These Easter lilies that I'm holding right now sprouted because of Jesus' blood. No. Anyway, yeah, no, it's good. Like, but I felt like I needed to tell the story. You know, I just wanted to like actually tell the Easter story because I don't know, it just felt like it was an important thing to do, as opposed to just like have some kind of other image or something like that. So
Did great. It was awesome.
Yeah,
it was a great Sunday. It
was really
awesome
fun
all around.
It was really
as it
fun.
should be. It's Easter.
Yeah,
it should be a really good Sunday.
And then, like you said, we sang Dolly
If
Parton.
Easter wasn't a really good Sunday at your church, you should
Goodness gracious.
think about,
Pray about.
meditate on the idea that maybe you should go to a different church.
Oh,
If you're not
heavens.
struggling with the thought of talking about how the mythology of lilies really were there for a children's time, you should think about going to another church.
Ay, ay, ay.
Her children's minister talked about the blood of Jesus turning lilies, turning into lilies during Easter.
Preach.
You should maybe think about finding
Just ponder. Just ponder.
big day today at White Rock, y'all.
Today?
Mavs play.
Mavs play.
Game
Someone's
2.
gonna be sitting in this desk behind this desk soon, and
They don't want that desk.
This is a great desk.
It
Is
is
it
a
a
great
tiny
desk.
desk?
No,
it's
it
a
is
giant
the
desk.
opposite of tiny desk. It is.
That's your gift from us, Mitchell.
You have
Can't
to
get
take
it.
it. with you.
The interesting thing is, it doesn't fit through either door. So
How did it get in there?
I don't know.
They built the room around.
They
that
built
desk.
it?
Basically
Built
did.
it
This
around
was-
the desk. It's literally cemented to the floor.
Some folks have told me this was Herb Minga's desk.
Some folks actually
the
have said
mythology
that
behind the desk.
it's Beethoven's desk. That's what it is.
Yes, actually, in one of the drawers, there's a original copy of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony
Of
score.
Ode to Joy. Yeah.
He Ode to Joy. He hand wrote on a composite notebook.
From Jesus'
No.
tears.
Ay, ay, ay.
Today, hopefully, we'll begin
Hopefully.
to know who's going to follow me
Begin
at White
to
Rock.
know.
I don't. There's a politically correct way to talk about this. It could be, and I have no idea who it is, but that he or she may be meeting with the leadership team sometime today. But I can't tell y'all what time because Phil's going to go out there and
Just
start
happened to be.
sweeping-
Yeah.
just happen to be in the church building when the meeting takes place.
Oh,
but
y'all
I
are
just
here too? What are y'all doing here?
I just
Fixing
want to
some light
say to
bulbs.
everyone, we're gonna know relatively soon who's going to be coming to White Rock, and I think that we should go ahead and start praying for both that person, their family, if they have a family, and the leadership team, because it's really exciting, and I have every confidence in the world that White Rock's going to absolutely love their next pastor. So
Yeah.
we should know soon, friends.
We should begin to know. at some point
begin to know
in the relatively soon but still ethereal future.
the ways in which we will have some pastoral leader begin to reveal themselves
Mitchell, I have a
over
question
the
for
next
you.
few weeks.
I have a question for you. What do you think is the biggest way you have changed in your time at White Rock?
Ooh.
Oh,
You can do top 3 if that's helpful.
well, I think I've become a better preacher, but that really has less to do with anything than just reps. I think we just get better the more we do things.
You don't have to get better. You can choose to stay the way you are. It's a conscious effort.
I think you're aided by reps. I think I am far more respectful of the failures that exist in a church. Like, I'm not, like, when things used to go wrong or didn't work out the way, I would take it really, really personally and like try to like, overcompensate for trying to fix that thing. But I'm far less like reactionary to, like, I don't react the same way. So I think I've created a lot more like grace for myself as a pastor, but also for the congregation. And I think I've really learned, and this was like a hypothesis when I first began, but I leave White Rock knowing it to be true, that the immediate neighborhood of a congregation has all the gifts necessary for the church to like become a vital member of that neighborhood or community. So like, we don't have to do everything well inside a church. We just have to be open to the folks who do things well. Like, think about it. It's awesome. And like, this is a simple example, but like over the course of this past week, there have been Dexter and Andrea hung a bunch of like original art in our building. We hired someone to paint our old raggedy chalkboards that we had hung in the hallway. And they did that in like 2 days. Right.
And they're an artist that rent space downstairs. They're part of our community.
Totally. They're part of our community, but none of them attend White Rock. Right. None of them are members.
Right.
I think
None of them worship with us on Sunday.
Right.
They attend White Rock probably more than the people who worship on Sundays.
Totally. Yes. None of them attend worship.
Yeah.
But you also see this in the garden, right? Will is now leading the garden. He is Mr. Garden, Mr. Community Garden. Will
it's
friend.
Beautiful. The garden
and it's
is
beautiful
so
and amazing.
Right yeah.
And Will came to us during the pandemic. And we didn't like go out and try to hire someone to run the garden. Like, we'll just possess the gifts necessary to do it. And so I leave White Rock being able to trust, I think, the community to do the work of the church, regardless of what the community's affiliation is to the church, that the church can be just simply a good partner with folks in the neighborhood. So I think I've gotten better at preaching. I've definitely not taking, things as personally, and offering more grace to myself and others. And a real belief, not just a hypothesis, but a belief that the neighborhood has the power.
Quick side note, I think we sold one of the pieces yesterday that were up.
Yes, I think we did.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
cool.
freaking awesome. Which one?
It's
Did you buy the Afro one?
No, the 3 picks. No one bought that one yet. That one's still for sale.
That's my favorite one.
It was one of the 2 pieces that one was on top of the other. It's either the top or the bottom one.
Oh, the fiber ones?
I think so. Yeah.
That's cool.
Those are cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's awesome.
To the left of the centerpiece.
Nice.
That's great.
I know they're
really cool.
They're so different. If you all haven't, if you're listening and you haven't been to the hallway, the main hallway that's behind the sanctuary, there are Dex, like at least a dozen.
There are
pieces of art.
3. There's about 15 or so pieces hanging up.
Yeah.
You know what we should do? Let's create a highlight on our Instagram.
I was just thinking the same thing.
A White Rock Art Gallery highlight, and we can show which ones are up and available for people to purchase, and then we can even show the ones that have sold, because I think it would be cool to be able to like give people access to this who aren't able to like walk around our space.
Yeah, so if you don't follow us on Instagram, it's White Rock UMC, not WRUMC. It's White Rock UMC.
Still trying to find that other one.
I know we have
also,
it too. It's just we don't have the password for
WRUMC.
it.
Also, if you know who has the WRUMC and you're listening right now, please let us know. I will be happy to give you money to make to resolve this thing. If it's Mitchell, great.
It might be my parting gift to you.
This is the worst secret that you've held.
I don't know if anyone's ever asked me.
Oh my God, get out of here.
Oh,
are you serious?
Come on. We have been
have
struggling
access to this?
Yeah, we've been struggling with this WRUMC.
Literally had to start an entire new account because of it.
You might begin to potentially possibly share with us at some point in the nebulous future. All right, friends. Closing thoughts, Instagram, Easter, or otherwise.
All right, friends. Final roast of Mitchell before we leave.
I'm not leaving yet. That's what's so funny is like
you got 6 weeks.
Everyone's like goodbye, and I'm like, the only reason you should say goodbye to me is if you plan on not coming to church until July 1.
Wait, is that an option?
Right?
Hate to burst the bubble.
Not for you, Phil.
I mean,
okay.
But maybe for Rebecca.
It is for me.
Rebecca goes on leave this week, y'all.
Yeah. So there was some confusion. People, I mean, it's understandable. People thought like, oh, today's your last day. We'll see you in June. I was like, well, today's my last Sunday, but I'm working today, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And that was my choice because I really hate Sunday being either the first or the last day of anything because my brain is just a billion places. So it's nice to have a couple days in the office to take all of my instruments home, get to make some music on my own time. Make sure the music room is fully stocked and ready. And I'm so excited for you all. You're going to love working with Gary and Sarah and Monica. Those are the people that are absorbing the work that I do. And so
because yes, it takes 3 people.
Yes. They're all part-time, but yes. It's going to be so good. Y'all are going to love. I told the choir, I was like, you might not even want me to come back. You're going to just love working with Gary and Sarah and Monica so much. So
have a really restful time.
Thank you,
Rebecca.
I appreciate that.
And
when you get back, Mitchell's going to leave.
Yes. Really?
We have one. We're going to
that.
have one amazing, beautiful worship service together.
Oh, we're going to do Pentecost up so big, y'all. They're going to be rainbow streamers. There's going to be another
fire breathers.
Okay, maybe not that.
Do we get magic?
Magic.
Keith's going to bring magic back?
Keith's going to bring magic?
Yes.
I don't know about that.
I think we should have a crawfish
juggle bowling pins that are on fire.
Okay.
I was going to say something else.
I've already started thinking about the hymns that I think would be awesome to sing. And I don't know why I started thinking about that, but I was like...
Well, the hymn's already chosen, but for you, Mitchell, I will...
Oh, no, you get free pick. He gets free pick. It's his last Sunday.
We could just have a hymn sing.
We Three Kings.
Hey, I'm all about that.
We Three Kings. Yeah, some Advent, some Epiphany hymns. That's really my favorite.
What hymns do you want? I'm curious because it may be some of the same ones that I've chosen.
It Is Well With My Soul to Declan last night.
Okay.
And I was like, man, that would be it's a great one. I haven't sung in a while.
Okay.
Can we do He Touched Me?
Here I Am, Lord's always been one.
No, we can't do that one.
Has been monumental. Like it was sung at my ordination.
Oh, nice.
There's just been moments where that hymn's popped on.
Mitchell and I are both ignoring your comment, Dexter.
I'm laughing hysterically.
What did you say, Dexter?
I said He Touched Me. Can we do He Touched Me? So quiet. It just got real quiet.
Mitchell just turned red.
No, we can do it.
What about Dominique the Italian Donkey?
I don't know that one.
Come back on that one, please.
It's a Christmas song. Dominic the Italian Donkey. Hee haw, hee haw. It's Dominic the Donkey.
Dexter didn't grow up Methodist.
I didn't. You're right.
That's not a Charles Wesley.
I don't know what his hymnody looks like from His childhood.
My dad's
Chucky-
gonna be really
Chucky West.
disappointed with me right now because he's a music minister and I have failed him on many levels because of this.
Yeah, Chucky West did not write Dominic the
Chucky
Italian
West.
Chucky
dog.
West?
Yeah, Chucky
West.
West.
There were some movies over Chucky West, right? It was horror movies, right?
That's what I call
That was
Charles
just
Wesley.
Chucky.
That's my nickname for him. Chucky
Oh, my
West.
bad. Gotcha.
You should make a Twitter account for Chucky West.
I just had
Chucky
this really
West.
weird like combination of
The ghost of Chucky West.
Chucky the weird doll
The terrifying
and Kanye
doll.
West
Chad West.
Yikes.
combined.
Oh, West.
Council,
West, not West.
Right.
Wes Anderson film.
Chucky
Okay.
West Anderson.
I have no idea
long-lost
how to wrap
brother.
this up now.
Slowly.
There's no bow for
Well,
this.
see you later.
Big gulps, everybody.
Bye,
Okay.
Mitchell. Godspeed.
Goodbye. I'll still be here,
You'll
but
still
y'all,
be here.
but Rebecca won't.
Yeah.
We are
So-
taking a break on the pod
exactly.
though, too, everybody. So
Yeah. We'll
What
take a
season
break.
was this?
This was,
this one episode was 8 seasons. So
and we've each aged 1,000 years.
if you're still listening, you win the award.
Yeah. You get some
Come to
Funyuns.
Mitchell's office and you can have his desk.
Do you think I'll ever be a guest on this podcast again?
I don't think you want to be on this podcast ever again, Mitchell.
Mitchell, I think you should
I think
really.
that was a threat.
I think you should really think and pray about finding a new church.
Oh.
Oh,
Pew, pew.
already have.
Or
Yes,
a
I
new
know.
podcast
But I
partner.
didn't really do a lot of thinking or praying on that. That just kind of happened to me.
Oh, okay.
Divine intervention.
Divine intervention. Yeah.
You might say it was preordained.
Well, I mean,
No,
someone
predestined.
ordained it, and it wasn't me. But I'm not saying that that was God.
No.
Well,
All right.
Mitchell,
And
it's
on
good
that
knowing
note-
you.
Okay.
Big gulps.
If you want to know more about what actually happens in the itineracy process, you should attend Phil and Keith's Methodism 101 that starts in May. Let's just put that
Beginning
out there.
of May. 9:30 Sunday mornings.
In the parlor.
We'll have more information on that soon.
Yes.
We will.
Yeah.
It's on my to-do list.
Coming in a few weeks, there will be new information.
You'll be able to sign up before May.
Not much before May, but a little before May.
Yeah.
A couple days.
All right.
Goodbye, everybody.
Oh, goodbye, friends.
Hey, everybody. Great job with Easter yesterday. It was lovely.
Yeah, really
Yes.
great job. It was beautiful. Pow, pow.
Pow, pow.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.